Hi, Rev Scott here, and we're once again having a look at the morning brew and reflecting on the church in mission. And today we're looking at speaking in tongues. Is it just gobbledegook? So let's get back into the room with the believers. They've just been filled with the Holy Spirit. And the very next thing, Acts chapter 2, 5-7, now there were devout Jews from every nation under the heaven living in Jerusalem. And at the sound of the crowd gathered, they were bewildered because each one of them heard them speaking in their native language. Amazed and astonished, they asked, are not all of these those who are speaking Galileans? So you've got this strange thing going on where you've got all these people who speak all these different languages, but they're hearing the disciples speak in their own language, and yet they shouldn't know their own language. And every single person is hearing in their own language. This is clearly a work of God. And what is happening is God is reversing what happened at Babel. Remember, at the Tower of Babel, God separated us into languages. But in the gospel, he unites us again. The disciples are speaking in tongues, a new phenomenon. But notice this is a very genuine language, and people hear and understand what they're saying. It's not gobbledegook. And so it shows the great lengths that God is prepared to go to reach out with the gospel, and how the gospel is an incredibly unifying thing. And so as the church, we need to learn to speak the language of everybody. A number of years ago, there was this new thing, and I really didn't have a lot of energy for it. But I realized that the young people were getting really involved in a thing called Facebook. I think it's 12 or 13 years later now, right? I have a ministry on Facebook. I have learned to speak the language of Facebook so that I can take the gospel out. And so as Christians, at the top of our agenda needs to be evangelism and discipleship. How do we take the brilliant, wonderful message of Jesus out to places where we might not speak the language? Have you ever thought maybe we should be speaking the gospel in emoji these days? Sounds like a lot of hard work, but if it would lead to the salvation of one person, God would want us to do that. And so we need, as Christians, to recognize that we exist to tell the story. Tell it in every way possible so that people can capture it. Let's not complicate the message. Let's make it simple and true. Find a way today of telling the story of Jesus. God bless and see you tomorrow.